let us return to what has been here all along. Breath, the anchor in storm, the bridge to presence, the companion to emotion, the pause between stimulus and response. You have learned, not in theory, but in practice, that a single inhale, a single exhale can shift the ground beneath you. Not to erase struggle, but to steady you in it. Not to silence pain, but to help you meet it with compassion. Every breath you take intentionally is a reminder you are not powerless here. You have a rhythm to return to, a doorway back to calm, a thread that ties you to this moment, to this body, to yourself. And as life moves forward, this practice moves with you. Breath is not confined to meditation. It is yours in traffic, in conflict, in grief, in joy. Always available, always enough, always here. So as we close, take one last slow inhale. Let it fill you with presence. Exhale gently. Let it carry away what no longer serves. Feel the steadiness that remains, the clarity that breath provides, the quiet reminder, I can stay. I can soften. I can begin again. And now, you do not leave this practice behind. You carry it forward into the next step of the journey. At 4 p.m., Dr. Amaka Osei will join you. Her voice will guide you into the deep work of reparenting, learning how to offer yourself the care you may have longed for, but never fully received. Where I have taught you to anchor with breath, she will show you how to nurture the child within, building safety and love from the inside out. So breathe once more. Inhale presence. Exhale openness. And step forward, carrying breath with you into the next healing space. Before there were words, before there were arguments and resolutions, there was breath. Breath is the first bridge between body and mind. It is the rhythm you were born with. In, out, expansion, release. And when everything feels unstable, relationships, responsibilities, your own racing thoughts, breath remains. Notice now, without changing it yet, your inhale, your exhale. No judgment, no effort, just awareness. This noticing is not small. It is the beginning of return, the reminder that no matter how scattered you feel, you have an anchor, a rhythm that has carried you through every moment of your life. Breath does not solve the problem. It steadies you, so you can meet the problem differently. Like Florence helped you discover in dialogue how calm ground changes the conversation. Breath changes the ground within you. The first work of peace is not external. It begins here with this inhale, this exhale. So often, we treat breathing as automatic, something to overlook, a background process. But when you bring it forward, when you breathe with intention, it becomes something else entirely. It becomes permission. Permission to pause. Permission to soften. Permission to arrive fully in this moment. Let yourself try it now. A slow breath in as though you are receiving. A gentle breath out as though you are releasing. Notice what shifts, perhaps only slightly, a loosening in the shoulders, a quieting at the edges of the mind. This is the gift of breath. It does not demand perfection. It simply offers space. And when you are overwhelmed, when clarity feels far away, remember, you need not solve everything at once. You need only take one intentional breath. This is your anchor. This is your bridge. This is your way home. When discomfort rises, your body often whispers or sometimes shouts, "Get me out." It may come as the sudden urge to scroll, to snack, to snap at someone. Or perhaps the quieter withdrawal, the desire to disappear into silence or sleep. This is resistance, the nervous system's way of protecting you from overwhelm. It is not weakness. It is strategy. A part of you saying, "This feels too much to hold." But here is the truth. You can stay. Not forever, not in agony, but for this breath. Breathe in. Name the resistance. I want to leave. Breathe out. Offer compassion. And still I am here. This is not about forcing yourself to endure the unbearable. It is about teaching your body that you can hold a moment longer than you thought possible. Each time you do, resistance loosens its grip, and your capacity grows. Therapists sometimes speak of exposure, the careful practice of meeting what you fear in safe doses until it no longer rules you. Breath is the simplest form of this practice. When anger spikes, when shame burns, when sadness swells like a tide, instead of drowning, you breathe. Inhale. I can allow this feeling to be here. Exhale. I do not have to fight it or flee. With each breath, you are building tolerance. You are showing the nervous system, I can survive this wave. Over time, the waves no longer knock you under. They rise, they crest, they pass, and you remain. Resistance will still visit. That is its nature. But it does not have to command you. Because you have a practice, a rhythm, a way of staying present without being consumed. Every intentional breath is both anchor and teacher. It tells your system you are safe enough to stay. And with that safety, clarity and choice return. Every feeling writes itself somewhere in the body. Anxiety often gathers in the chest, a tightening, a quickening, as though the air itself has shrunk. Grief sits heavy in the belly, a stone you cannot shift. Anger rises hot in the throat, as though words are burning, to be spoken or swallowed. And shame, it spreads like a cloak over the shoulders, pulling you downward, telling you to fold in on yourself. These sensations are not random. They are messages, the body's stories about what it has endured. So instead of fighting them, what if you breathed into them? Not to erase, not to silence, but to acknowledge, to say, yes, I feel you. Yes, you belong. Breath becomes the hand laid gently on the body's memory, a gesture of safety, of presence, of compassion. Try this with me. Bring your awareness to the place in your body that feels most alive right now, whether tense, heavy, or restless. Without judgment, simply notice. Now, send the breath there. Inhale gently, imagining space opening around the sensation. Exhale softly, as though you are loosening the grip of that heaviness by a fraction. Repeat, not forcing change, just meeting what is present with steadiness. What you may notice is that breath does not erase the story. It changes the relationship to it. Tightness may soften. Heaviness may shift. Or perhaps nothing moves. And that too is a kind of healing. Because you stayed present, you did not abandon yourself. Over time, this practice teaches the body, I am safe enough to feel. I am safe enough to notice. I am safe enough to remain. And in that safety, the body's stories can begin to release. Your nervous system is always speaking. When danger is sensed, it speeds the heart, tightens the muscles, floods the bloodstream with urgency. When safety is present, it slows the pulse, loosens the jaw, settles the breath into a steady rhythm. Most of the time, you are not conscious of these shifts. They happen beneath awareness, like tides turning in the body. But here is the key. Breath is the doorway through which you can speak back. Every long, steady exhale is a signal. It whispers to the nervous system, "You are safe enough to soften." Every intentional pause between inhale and exhale tells the body, "There is space here. You are not in crisis." This is why breath matters. It is not simply oxygen. It is communication. It is dialogue with your own biology. And when you learn that language, you learn regulation. Try this practice now. Inhale through the nose to a gentle count of 4. Hold for 1, 2. Exhale through the mouth to a slow count of 6. Pause. Allow the stillness to land. Again. Inhale 4. Hold 2. Exhale 6. Notice what shifts, even slightly. Perhaps the shoulders ease. Perhaps the thoughts move from frantic to spacious. Perhaps nothing obvious occurs. Yet deep inside, the nervous system is recalibrating. This is the rhythm of regulation, a steady cadence that coaxes the body from alarm into alignment. And the beauty is this: you carry the instrument always. No equipment, no ritual, just breath. When the world is loud, when emotions spiral, when clarity slips from reach, return to rhythm. Inhale, pause, exhale, pause. This simple pattern is not merely calming, it is regulating. It teaches your body that even in storm, you can return to center. And the more you practice, the more quickly the body remembers. Safety is here. Balance is possible. You are not at the mercy of chaos. When difficult emotions rise, we often respond with resistance. We argue with sadness. "I shouldn't feel this way." We battle anger. "This is too much. I must push it down." We deny fear. "I have no reason to be afraid." But notice, the more we resist, the stronger the emotion clings. Breath offers a different way. Breath does not argue. It does not shame. It does not demand. Breath simply accompanies. It says, "You are here and I am here with you. When sorrow swells, breath sits beside it, steady, gentle, unafraid. When rage crackles in the chest, breath does not extinguish it, but gives it space to burn cleanly, without consuming the whole self. When fear tightens the ribs, breath whispers, expand just a little. There is room for you. This companionship is powerful because once the emotion feels witnessed, it begins to soften on its own. Let's practice. Bring to mind an emotion present for you right now, big or small, clear or vague. Name it softly, without judgment. Perhaps tired, or restless, or lonely. Now inhale gently, as though you are making room inside the chest for that feeling. Exhale slowly, as though you are setting a chair beside you and inviting the feeling to sit, not to dominate, but to be acknowledged. Repeat this a few times. Inhale, make space. Exhale, offer room. Notice what shifts. Perhaps the feeling remains, but its sharpness dulls. Perhaps it lingers, but you feel larger than it. This is the quiet miracle of breath. It expands your capacity. You do not have to exile your emotions. You can host them. And in that hosting, something new happens. Clarity peeks through. Compassion stirs. Choice returns. Breath is not a cure for emotion. It is a companion, a presence that says, "You may stay, but you will not overwhelm me, because I am breathing still." Viktor Frankl once wrote, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose." Often, it doesn't feel that way. A word stings, and anger leaps out before you even think. A disappointment lands, and despair floods instantly. Reactions feel automatic, as though you are at the mercy of every trigger. But here is where breath becomes vital. Breath creates that space. One deep inhale, one deliberate exhale can stretch a fraction of a second into a moment of choice. Enough space to soften your tone. Enough space to rethink the harsh reply. Enough space to choose presence over panic. Breath is the key that unlocks the gap between what happens and how you answer. It cannot prevent the trigger, but it can protect your response. Let's practice. Imagine a recent moment where you felt triggered, a sharp comment, a frustrating delay, an old wound poked. Picture it clearly. Notice the first reaction in your body: tightness, heat, urgency. Now, before imagining your response, take a slow inhale. Count to 4. Hold for a beat. Feel the tension waiting. Exhale to 6. Let the urgency flow out with the air. Now ask yourself, what do I want to choose here? Not what do I feel compelled to do, but what aligns with who I want to be. This is the gift of breath. It turns reaction into response. It shifts you from compulsion to clarity. Every time you breathe before you speak, you reclaim power. Every time you pause before you act, you reshape the pattern. Breath does not erase triggers, but it does give you the radical freedom of choice. And over time, those choices accumulate. They carve out a life that is less reactive, more intentional, more aligned with your deepest values. The mind is rarely still. It drifts backward, rehashing yesterday's conversations, reliving old wounds. Or it leaps forward, predicting tomorrow's crises, rehearsing every possible failure. This is what the mind does. It time travels. But when you live in the past too long, you carry weight that no longer belongs to you. And when you live in the future too long, you suffer problems that haven't even arrived. The present moment, though quieter, is where life is actually lived. And breath is the doorway back. Each inhale grounds you in now. Each exhale releases what is not here. The mind may wander, but the body breathes only here. And so every breath is an invitation to return. Try this with me. Bring your awareness to the inhale, noticing the coolness of air as it enters. Then the exhale, the warmth leaving, the body softening. If thoughts intrude, let them. But instead of following, return to the next inhale. This is not failure. This is practice. Because each return is an act of coming home. Notice the ground beneath you. Notice the air in the room. Notice your own presence here. Breathing yourself back again and again into this moment. And slowly, the grip of yesterday eases. The pull of tomorrow loosens. What remains is now. This breath, this body, this moment. Breath does not erase memory or worry. It simply reminds you, you are not there. You are here, and here is enough. So much of our inner dialogue is harsher than we realize. You should be further along. You should have handled that better. You should not feel this way. The shoulds stack up until even small missteps feel like proof of failure. But here's what's remarkable. Your breath does not judge you. It doesn't keep score of what you've accomplished today. It doesn't punish you for being tired or distracted or broken open. It simply arrives. Inhale, exhale, again and again. Breath is unconditional. It meets you where you are, not where you think you ought to be. And when you tune into that rhythm, you practice meeting yourself in the same way, without judgment, without punishment, just presence. Let's practice together. As you inhale, imagine drawing in kindness, as though every breath is lined with gentle words. You are enough. You are worthy. You are still becoming. As you exhale, release the weight of self-criticism. Imagine each out-breath carrying away a layer of judgment, making more room for grace. Again, inhale kindness. Exhale judgment. Inhale presence. Exhale pressure. Notice what shifts when you let breath itself become your reminder of compassion. Over time, this rhythm reshapes the inner voice. The critic grows quieter. The caretaker grows louder. The self becomes safer to inhabit. This is not indulgence. It is restoration. Because only when you meet yourself kindly can you extend that same kindness outward. And only when you practice compassion in the quiet will compassion be there for you in the storm. So breathe. Breathe as though each inhale is a gift offered to you. Breathe as though each exhale is grace making space inside you. This is how compassion begins, not as a lofty ideal, but as a rhythm you can practice with every breath. Many confuse acceptance with giving up. They hear the word and imagine defeat, a passive shrug, a powerless silence. But acceptance is not surrender. It is clarity. It is the willingness to see things as they are, without layering them, with denial or resistance. Acceptance does not mean you wanted this to happen. It does not mean you must stay here forever. It means you stop fighting reality long enough to respond with wisdom instead of war. When pain arrives, you do not have to like it, but you can breathe with it. When loss occurs, you do not have to approve, but you can let breath remind you, I am still here. This shift from resistance to presence is what opens the door to healing. Because only when you accept what is real can you begin to shape what comes next. Try this practice. Bring to mind something you wish were different. Perhaps a situation, a relationship, a memory you replay. Notice the tension it creates, the tightening, the restless urge to fix or undo. Now breathe. Inhale gently, as though you are saying, "Yes, this is here." Exhale softly, as though you are releasing the fight against it. Repeat. Inhale, recognition. Exhale, release. Nothing changes outwardly, and yet within, the battle quiets. This is not resignation. This is resource. Because when you accept reality, you conserve your strength. You redirect your energy from wrestling with what cannot be changed toward responding to what can. Acceptance, practiced with breath, becomes empowerment, not passive, not weak, but deeply alive. So the next time life hands you what you did not ask for, pause, breathe, and let that breath remind you, I may not control this, but I can meet it, and I can choose my next step